everyone. Welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie San Martin and myself, Orly Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. Dottie, how's it going today?
Hi, Orly. It's going good.
I'm excited. Go ahead. I think we're both excited. See that? We're both ready to jump. We're ready to pull the trigger.
Not excited, Orly. Come on. I mean, I'm sure our listeners think, gosh, they're the most excitable people ever. But I get really excited when we are able to talk with someone that can really help our listeners understand the value of some of these special little details that sometimes we forget about. And today we have Jim Krogsund on with us. Orly, you want to give him a shout out and introduce him?
Sure. We have Jim on the show, and Jim is the senior product manager, capital equipment. And as you can tell, so just by this intro, you can tell we don't pre-plan things. You know, it's not like, hey, Dottie, you're going to introduce, I'm going to introduce. We were both jumping on board to introduce there. We were both excited, and we are both excited to have Jim on the show. So Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Good to see you guys.
Yes. Well, you know, Jim, it's the time of year where we have in the entertainment business, we see holiday parties starting to book, and we've done a couple of episodes on, putting corporate parties together and so on and so forth. So we're in that mode. We're in that event mode. We are in that starting to get in that holiday spirit. And one of the things that we want to talk to you about today is just that, how centers can really take an event and turn it into something that is just an over-the-top event. And you have a really interesting perspective on that. And the products that you represent also offer great opportunities to create these very memorable events that people are absolutely willing to pay top dollar for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It goes beyond just the game of bowling, but the other elements of your environment, which really add to the overall party experience for your guests.
Yes, absolutely. And, we sometimes, when we think of party, we're thinking of a child's birthday party, or maybe a company that's coming in to celebrate Christmas or the holidays. But you know what? There are a lot of other opportunities to create events. They don't have to be considered parties, but just an event, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. One thing that, when you're a lot of these bowling centers, sometimes they are the largest open space in the town or in the area, and they can host events that maybe go beyond the traditional birthday party, Christmas party, holiday parties. You'll see things like concerts. We have people that will rearrange their environment, have concerts out on the lanes because, again, they have this huge space.
Yes, put a stage over the lanes.
We've got other customers. They'll sit there and they will strip the lanes. And I've got a 60-foot instant runway, and they will have fashion shows and fashion debuts and stuff like that. And they're doing this in the bowling center. It's the hotbed time of political season. So, political fundraisers. You'll see those in bowling centers. And maybe I wouldn't recommend it for your first or even possibly your second, but folks are working on their third or fourth marriage, and you don't need to do that at the country club. And maybe something, in a bowling center instantly says, okay, this is going to be a fun party, a fun event, and not your typical stuffy banquet, right?
Yes.
If I'm going to do a corporate meeting, right? And we can all picture this in our head at the local conference center, and they do a great job, and I'm not nothing negative about them. But, for $1,000 for a couple hours, you're going to be given this room that has, the rectangular tables with the tablecloths over draping the sides and the little doily with the glass. And we've got that podium in the front and maybe a whiteboard or two. And everybody's been in that room 100 times, right? But now you bring them into, hey, we're going to have this corporate meeting. at a bowling center. And we're going to do this during work hours. So, the bowling center is not usually booked during the early parts of the morning or the day. And people are walking in and they're like, okay, this is going to be a little bit different, right? I've got an exciting event. I've got an exciting activity planned around this, but we're in a bowling center. We're all surrounded and amongst each other and not in these little rows back and forth. So that just opens up the opportunity.
And not only are you able to provide that space for whatever administrative purposes they need. So, a meeting or whatever the purpose of, the administrative part of it is. But then you're also able to provide food in most cases. You're able to provide an activity. And the nice thing is all of those people that are attending that are potential customers for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe there's some folks in your group that go bowling regularly, but then you're always going to have those people that maybe haven't stepped foot in a bowling alley in years, and they're remembering the bowling alleys of our youth with the cigarette smoke and the stale food hanging on the rotisserie, and they walk into these centers, and our proprietors have put forth tremendous efforts to create these environments that are just engaging. They smell fresh. They look great. The furniture looks great and inviting, and it's a place you want to be and spend extra time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the industry has done a phenomenal job in, you mentioned this mindset of what bowling used to be, smoke filled and the food wasn't top notch. I will say post-COVID, the light has been shined on the fact that we are clean and the food is upscale and, the social aspect of it, but more so the cleanliness, because for many years we got the bad rap, right?
Yeah. And I was going to say, as I witnessed that firsthand in our center, people would come in and the first thing they would always comment was like, oh, wow, it looks so nice in here. I'm not used to seeing a bowling center like this, or it's so bright in here, or the furniture is so clean looking. They really noticed that, they're used to those dark centers. I went into a center here a while back and I couldn't even see when I walked in. It was because it was bright outside. I walked in and I'm like, I can't even see in here. It was just that old school, which, old school is still cool.
I want to mention, I want to talk to you just a little bit. You talked about being able to have very unique events at your center, and being able to have things like, fashion shows, which, can you imagine taking part of your house and having a fashion show and on the other part of your house having your ladies league going on and offer them their own private little style show? Wouldn't that be cool? Things like that where you're able to bring in, the other thing that's really popular right now, gender reveal, but be able to do things like that in your center that sometimes we forget to think outside the box and forget to realize that we have so much that we could offer with just a little bit of extra effort, and then putting something together and then marketing it, letting people know it's very well thought out, it's organized, and, it's a unique opportunity for you. But the thing is, one of the factors that play into being able to offer these unique events is something that you mentioned about the arrangement. And so being able to have the ability to rearrange your settee area is a big bonus, right? Not everybody has that ability, but if you choose to go this route and offer these types of events, there is something on the market. And of course, it's one of your product lines. So let's talk a little bit about that and the opportunities that it opens up.
Yeah, our Infinity sofa line, it's fantastic for the bowling environment, but even more so, its flexibility just makes it a superb treatment for events. So if you're having a party and you need to accommodate, 4 to 8 lanes of people. Traditionally, you'd come into the bowling center and you'd get your lanes. And now what you've done is basically segmented your group into 4 separate little miniature parties. And that's fine. You can have a great time, but you're not interacting between the lanes.
Yeah.
With Infinity, it allows you to rearrange the furniture, so that you, rather than just keeping it in these typical traditional bowling lane rows, you've now opened it up. You can create, a large horseshoe shape style, or create a centerpiece for the birthday person, or the person celebrating their life event.
Like a throne almost.
Yeah, absolutely. The princess tuffet, as I like to call
Yes.
it. And they become the center of attention. So now you've created this big event space, and you don't have to move from like a back room, like, hey, we're going to use the event planning room or the event party room first. And then when we're done with that, we'll migrate over to the bowling lanes. Well, that kind of disrupts the party, disrupts the flow, and you have to re-engage it, once you get out to the lanes. But here you're playing, you're bowling, you're participating, and you're enjoying each other's company all in one environment without any disruption, right? And if somebody wants to sit down and watch, they can do so. But then you're going to have a lot of peer pressure from everybody else saying, come on, Dottie, it's your turn. You need to bowl. Come on up and play. And you'll get everybody participating and everybody having a good time and taking a lot of photography. And then you'll have the other people that aren't part of the event that, just people there bowling for the evening. And all of a sudden they're looking over and they're like, wow, I would have never thought of having, that party here.
Exactly.
And I didn't know. They'll start looking at the furniture, and saying, oh, this stuff moves, and we built it to move, right? So, locking cams unlock, which separate the units. And we even have wheels on the back. So you tip it backwards, and you can easily put it into new arrangements.
Yeah. And you said it right there, easily. It's easy. I can move the furniture. I mean, it really is that quick and easy. And there's even some guides and stuff that help you understand how you can rearrange things to be attractive for certain audiences. The nice thing about it is for centers that are looking for ways to fill lanes on, like during the daytime, for example, this is very attractive for companies, especially nowadays. Companies have downsized. They have allowed more workers to work remotely. And as a result, some of these companies that used to have, even internally space for them to have meetings and stuff, now find themselves looking for spaces that they can have, their meeting or whatever, that can also incorporate some way to bring their employees together, because working remotely, you don't have the same camaraderie that you do when you're all working under the same roof. And so an event like this enables you to reach out to those companies. And a lot of times those are companies that have daytime hours that are looking for a facility, so that, typically bowling centers during the daytime aren't just packed with people. So this gives you an opportunity to bring in business specifically for empty lanes.
You bring up an interesting point with the change of the office environment. And we're so used to now doing video calls with each other. But just a couple of years ago, we would have a separate room that we would go in, and we could have a video conference with somebody, in Italy. But nowadays, everybody has the capability from their desks, right?
Yeah.
So the old conference rooms that used to be all set up around the offices, those have been repurposed because more meetings are happening, on the computer, on the screens, video conference. But you need to bring these people together, for certain interactions and certain brainstorming sessions. And so now they're working at home, and you're like, okay, we're going to have this event. We're going to have it at the bowling center. It's center of town. Everybody come on in. After the event, or after our meeting, we'll continue to have some other activities, including bowling, team building activities. Maybe they can bring significant others, for extended stays, and really get back together and have these face-to-face interactions. And again, these bowling centers have been reconfigured for modern entertainment. They'll have video screens and they'll allow you to interface with that and use those for your presentations. I've been to centers where they're having a Sweet 16 party, and the dad has sat there and put together a lengthy photo and video montage of his daughter aging through the years, and then everybody could sit there and watch the father start to cry as he's watching the princess grow up. But they're doing it in a bowling center, right? It's a fun environment, and they're taking advantage of this layout that puts the person at the centerpiece, but they're using the other aspects of the bowling center, these large, beautiful video displays and these great atmospheres and strong acoustics and things like that to just really create memorable events that are a change from the stuffy environment that we were accustomed to back in the day.
Yeah, and it just kind of lightens the mood too, if you think about it. If you're having these meetings and like your conference centers that you're used to, and again, there's nothing wrong with them, but it's this like not dark room, but it's just this room, nothing on the walls. It's kind of, but imagine, I think back to even one of the first times I met with Dottie. You're going to this interview, you're going to talk to someone, and you're like, oh no, it's kind of principal's office. Are you in this little scary office? They take me into this conference room where there were some bowling lanes, and I'm like, oh, this is comfortable. I feel more, it just kind of takes a little bit of the edge away, and it's kind of, yeah. And another thing I wanted to mention too is when you were mentioning the furniture moving different, you could do all these different things with it. I think the best part that I like about it is it looks natural. It looks like it's meant to be set up that way.
Yes.
Where, your traditional bowling furniture, if somebody's like, well, let's move this way and do this way, but it's like, okay, well now you can't really sit on that edge of it because it's way over here, or like, you know what I mean? It's not made to move that way, where with the Harmony furniture it is.
Yeah, it was designed with movement in mind. It's got a cubby underneath for your personal belongings. Like you said, we have the wheels in the back so that anybody of any size or stature can maneuver the individual pieces. And as you reconfigure it, they look like they're supposed to go like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They look in place, and you can experiment with different layouts, but we've taken some efforts to create these unique layouts that foster socialization or foster a party environment. And we have, cue cards or cheat cards that show your current environment and show the movements needed to create this other environment, and worksheets that you can work with the customer for the event. So they'll come in, and you're going through the plethora of game options that we have, and then the exciting menu options, and then you're like, okay, well, what kind of layout would you like to? And here's these layouts, and here's the benefit, and all of a sudden you've added an extra element that wasn't on their plate. And we've talked about this before, but now all of a sudden, this event planner for the office becomes what we call the office hero. And they're like, wow, Dottie, that was a great party, a great event. And, the food was great. The layout was great. Everybody was engaged. Nobody was hiding in the corner. And even old Orly, got up and started bowling and put down his phone for a change, so it was, I got to pick up somebody. I apologize.
That's the norm here. So don't worry. We got you. But, bowling has always been such a great form of socialization. And I think that this is just when you can turn an event into, as you said, everything is planned out. Everything is just over the top. People don't go in thinking that, oh, gosh, they can customize the way we sit for this event. That blows them away. But it's really important for centers to understand you have to let your customer know about these things. You have to plant the seed. We're on Seeds of Success, so we're all about planting seeds here. But you, as a bowling center owner or operator, need to make sure that you are allowing your customer to see inside of all of the different experiences that you can offer at your center. They're not mind readers. They don't know that you can take and suddenly turn your settee area into a great setting for an awards ceremony and a celebration of someone's achievement. by a few simple clicks and moving of some of the furniture. Those events, when they find out how customized those events are and what you can offer them, they're certainly willing to pay for the experience that you deliver. You have to let them know what that experience it is. Look what people are paying in a hotel banquet room where you do not have the opportunity to really go in and create a unique experience. You are being provided space and you're being provided food in some cases or refreshments, and that's pretty much it. So when you plan it out, when you think it through, when you offer it, you market the different ways that you can use your facility to bring in new business, not only are you getting increased revenue for events, but look what you're doing in spinoff from that. All of these people that are coming in are your potential customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to be willing to open their wallets. You know, if you fill your lanes with a just a random group coming in, they're going to come in, they're going to spend some money, they're going to bowl, they're going to stay for a length of time, and you're going to do well. But if you have a birthday party, you know, my wife's birthday is coming up. Shout out Renee. In December. And, you know, we'll go out to dinner, you know, maybe once a week or a couple times a month. But I know that this date coming up, and this is a big milestone birthday.
Okay.
We're going to be shelling out some extra cash, and we're going to spend more than we normally do. And she knows I'm going to spend more than we normally do. And you're going to get more revenue from that event than you would from a just traditional customers coming in for a night out. So it is lucrative, and you're generating more dollars per minute with these events. And, you know, and the great thing about them is they're usually planned, you know, maybe a month ahead. So
Yes.
You can schedule and plan accordingly for your staff and your food and any needs that you would have to cater to this party, and have some kind of trinkets available when that person knows they instantly, oh, this is my special day, and everybody here knows it. And
Yes.
and it really just makes for a fabulous outcome.
I completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah. And there's so many different things that you can do. Again, the importance is making sure that it's well thought out, well planned, and you are able to deliver at least what that customer expects. But in my case, I always like to deliver more than what they expect. And those are those little moments that they're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this is amazing. This is wonderful. I can't wait to come back. That's what you want to leave your guests with. And it's all of these little things that you are able to do if you think a little bit differently. Maybe you haven't always offered, you know, some of these things in your center, a place for a wedding. Maybe that's not been something you've ever done before, but why not? Be willing to take that step. Be willing to go in that zone that's a little scary, right? Because you never know what opportunities are out there that you're not capitalizing on.
Absolutely.
So, and, you know, we talk about socialization, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jim, because, flying ducks is something that just offers such a great form of socialization. Can I get you on the record for saying that you'll come back for another episode of Seeds of Success, where we can talk about how, socialization can also be in other places besides just a bowling and entertainment center, right? And Flying Ducks certainly offers that opportunity.
Yes, I will absolutely come back. Absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, anything else that you want to leave the listeners with today? Just
it's the party season, and as one of my colleagues once said, you know, anytime that somebody goes bowling, it's usually the best part of their day. They're with the people they want to be with. They're doing the activity they want to do, and so you have an event inside a bowling center, and they instantly know that they're going to have a good time when they walk in. And now the centers have the tool to make it probably one of the more memorable experiences that they've had in recent memory, especially just for a corporate or party, holiday party, birthday parties, or even your third, fourth, fifth, or sixth wedding, whatever number.
There you go. There you go. And in some cases, maybe even the first one, if you met in a bowling center, you just never know. Maybe that's where you want to get married at. Let's tie the knot here.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again for joining us today, Jim. We really do appreciate it. We look forward to you being on another episode with us. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us today also. We look forward to you tuning in next week for another episode of Seeds of Success as we equip you with more practical tips, ideas, and trends that'll help your center grow and achieve new levels of success. Remember to share this podcast with your entire team. The more seeds you plant, the bigger the crop. Until next time, keep growing your business, one happy customer at a time.